Hi, I'm Deneen, and I'm so glad you're here today because we're going to play a game that is really good for practicing number sense, adding numbers, getting ready for division, multiplication facts, and it even will teach composite and prime numbers. It just does so much in one little game. It's a game that you play with 2 to 3 people, and the only materials you need are number cards. I use the Boxcar One-Eyed Jack cards, and this game actually comes from the Boxcar One-Eyed Jack book, and it's called Factor Find. I've just made a little change that I'm excited to share with you. So each group will start with a common pile, and they will draw 4 cards. The way I do it in my classroom is each student we take turns of who gets to draw out the 4 cards. So you draw out 4 cards. And what you're going to do is find the sum of these cards. And this is a really good time for me to help remind and teach my students that we don't just start adding numbers with the first number and go from there. We look at ways to manipulate the numbers to make it easier to add. So for example, here we have an 8, a 6, a 12, and a 12. So let's see, how did I do this? Oh, I remember. There are a couple of fun ways to do this, but I would probably take this 8 and put it over here to make 20. So I've got 20 here, and then I would, let's see, I've got 20, and then add a 10 to 30, and then 36. But your students will come up with other ways to add, but I just really want to emphasize teaching them to manipulate the numbers because that's what good mathematicians do. We manipulate the numbers with number sense. Then they make the factor t. And what was our total? I think our total was 36. And then I like this game because, well, for many reasons, but one being that you don't have to wait your turn. Everybody plays the game at one time, so there is maximum thinking going on. So now I am doing this and you're doing it on your board or paper. Everyone is doing this at the same time, listing out the factors. And so I already had taught my students how to do that, starting with always 1 times 36, 1 times itself. And then if it's an even number, 2 will always be a factor. And then you start helping them think about what are the other factors that belong with 36. So let's say that I only did 4 times 9, and that was it, and I thought I was finished. Now, when everyone is finished, and my students were suggesting that I get little 1-minute timers, but I haven't been doing that yet. I don't know if that's something I should do. What do you think? Should it be timed? I hesitate away from timed situations, but let me know what you think about that. All right, so now we reveal to our co-players, our teammates, what we got for the factors. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3 factor pairs. So I would get 3 points. But hopefully somebody in my group also noticed that 3 times 12 is 36, so they would get 4 points for that round. And once everybody has revealed and helped each other if they've made mistakes, then it's time to play again. So the second day that we played this, I wanted the numbers to be able to go bigger because if we are using 1 through 12 cards, the highest product we can get is 48. And I wanted them to have practice with some bigger numbers too. So what we did is we changed it to drawing 5 cards. And again, I want my students to manipulate the numbers. So let's see, I have, I can do the same thing I did before, adding my 2 to an 8 to make another 10, like I did 12 plus 8 is 20. This time I'll do 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 12 is 22. And then I have a 9 and a 3. Oh, how about I do this? Let me change it. I like to show my students that you can change your mind too. How about we do 12 plus 12? I've got 12 plus 12 here, which is 24, plus 10 is 34. I'm really good at adding my 10s. I like that much better. So I've got 34 now. So we make a factor t, and everybody in the group does this at the same time. And I've taught them over and over that you always start with 1 times itself, the number itself. If it's an even number, 2 will always be a factor. So 2 times 17. And I can't think of anything else that goes into 34. So after everyone has had a chance, now we reveal and show each other what we got. In this case, maybe everybody did this, so then everyone will get 2 points. But if there's someone who just did 1 times 34, they would just get 1 point. 1 point per pair. But Prime seemed to just be screaming at me when we were playing this game. And so I asked Wonderful Stanley, I said, what do you think a good bonus number would be if we get a prime number? And he thought, he did some math, he crunched the numbers, and he said, I think 3 points would be good. So let's look at this one right here. This is a 4-card round, and I have 3 12s, and this is such good practice. It's multiplication and addition. 3 times 12 is 36. And then we've got 36 plus 7. And I like to teach my students that 7 is simply, in this case, 4 and 3, which would be 43. So here we go, 43. 1 times 43 is prime. And if you realize that it's prime when you've established that, then when you share with your partners, they can get a 3-point bonus then. 3-point bonus for it being a prime number. And they really enjoyed that. We kind of call it prime time when we get a prime number. And then you can also teach them that the opposite of prime numbers would be composite numbers. So this game was so revealing. As I've shared with you before, when students are playing games, it's tempting to want to go to my desk and get my work done, which is endless. But I try so hard to resist that temptation and play with them. I'm so glad that I do that, because on this day, I realized that one of my students was trying to add numbers, and she was trying to add 19 plus 2 and couldn't do it. I would have never known that this student, how did I know she couldn't do it? She was using her fingers to count 19 plus 2. She hadn't learned that, 19 plus 2 is really 19 plus 1 and then 1 more. And it was just such an aha moment when she realized that. Another student wasn't able to get from 14 to 20. That number sense wasn't there. And it's in games like this that those skills are really refined and taught. So this is what we're doing right now. It practices so many different skills, and I hope that you will give it a try this week. I want to thank someone a couple weeks ago who made a comment. I don't know her name. Her abbreviation was Sin West, I think. She asked a question about how much time do I give to think. If you've watched that video about I'm still thinking, and I just wanted to say thank you so much to you, because it's so helpful when we can ask each other questions and learn together. So have a great week, and I'll see you next week with something else for us to learn together. I'm Deneen Matsuda. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget
to like and subscribe!